Do you believe that homosexuality is a sin?
I don't like that statement because I think it's clumsy.
Okay, well,
I
how
think
would
for
you
me
rephrase?
to go down the route of a sexually active gay relationship would not be God's will for my life. It would miss the mark of the target because it isn't in the law.
Yeah.
The law still teaches us what sin is, right? But to be gay, to have a sexual orientation as a gay person is fallen, but it's not sinful. Does that make sense?
I would say the sinful nature, the fallen nature are synonymous.
Well, no, in the sense that there are things that are fallen about us, but they are not sinful.
Okay.
So a lot of the way that we experience desire and how to have self-control and all of that, Augustine talks about how that whole apparatus is now fallen. It's not wrong to have desire.
But it's wrong to act on it.
It's wrong to follow a certain goal for that desire that then becomes sin. But there's a point at which and I think it's really hard for people to understand this because they want a black and white answer. But that's not how creation, fall, and redemption works. It's gray. It's wrestling. It's not simple. And people want either progressive or conservative. And I'm always like, is homosexuality a sin or is it okay? And I'm
well, that's how it's presented to us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either right or it's wrong.
Yeah.
You're either one of God's people or you're not.
And I actually think being gay is a gift that has led me deeper into God, deeper into the gospel, often deeper than a lot of the heterosexual people around me that think I'm their poster boy because I'm a celibate gay Christian. I'm not their poster boy. I'm like, you have issues. You don't understand the depth of this, and you create environments in the church where queer people can't wrestle with this authentically. And I'm not on that bandwagon with them. I don't just want to say tick a box. It's all just about getting the ethic right. I want queer people to flourish without having to compromise what I see as quite clearly scriptural holiness. And that's where I feel authentically I want to live out my gay identity is in that tension.
So do you think that to be a true Christian, and if you're gay, you should be celibate? Does that apply to everyone?
I think everyone needs to go on a journey of discipleship where you learn to deny yourself. And in that process, it's not going to be perfect. And we're going to make mistakes, but we need to put God above everything and continually seek God in that process. And scripture is our guide, but scripture doesn't answer every question. And I think for me, I want real rarefied orthodoxy. And, it's so interesting when I read the church fathers and I read a lot of contemporary theologians at Oxford, a lot of them are asking for this there's this rarefied orthodoxy. There's this group of about 3%. There's the Francis who goes up against the Crusades and says, no, there's the queer Christian that's not quite going to give in to everything. And it's no, I'm going to try to live in this radical tension. That's where I want to go. I want to be in that rarefied orthodoxy. And I've lived trying to conform myself to conservative and liberal progressive views. And they've all left me in a place I don't feel whole. But when I go into that deeper tension that I've talked about, I'm yes, this is it. This is where Jesus is. And that's where I've kind of found him. But at the same time, Jesus is still with everyone who's questioning in those spaces. And he's still radically present, incarnationally has solidarity with every person. That's what happened in the incarnation. God showed solidarity to everybody. He became human. That's just stop there. Can we not even talk about ethics yet? That's freaking amazing. That's why I'm a Christian. There's no other view of God that shows that kind of radical solidarity with us in these questions, in these difficult terrains of mystery. And God doesn't want to answer all the questions for us because he doesn't want us to be robots. He wants an actual relationship with a living, breathing image of himself that is beautiful and makes authentic choices, isn't forced.